Here's what you need to know about movement and metabolism. So after age 35, again, most adults are losing 3 to 5% of their muscle mass every decade after age 35. And that's actually the statistic for men. For women, it's higher because we don't have as much testosterone, which is muscle sparing, it's protective. So unless we are eating enough protein and we're engaging in some type of resistance training that solicits and sustains that type 2 muscle fiber growth, most women are doing exercise like running, a lot of cardio, Peloton rides, all of that focuses on type 1 muscle fiber growth, which is more like voluminous and volume based instead of this like very like dense compacted muscle fiber like type 2. So most women who come to us are doing the wrong type of training for the results that they want. And sometimes it's really hard to get them to let it go. And I'm talking about F45 boot camps, like the hot Pilates classes and yoga classes and Orange Theory and berries. It's like these are so hard on the female body and highly, highly cortisol producing. So when you think about what's regulating your metabolism, how many calories you burn on a day-to-day basis, the number one thing that regulates and influences how many calories you burn every day is your amount of muscle mass. So think about it. After 35, if you're not strength training and you're still running, right? And you're still doing Peloton rides and you're just focusing on this cardio, or even if you think you're lifting weights, but your lifting weight classes are actually more like just cardio and you're not actually doing progressive strength training. We have a lot of education on that on our Instagram channel of like, what is actual progressive strength training, right? That doesn't overtax the central nervous system. Then you are losing your muscle mass. And here's the thing with cardio, your body adapts to cardio like that. So this is what happened to me with running. If you start doing the same cardio and your body is like, it wants to be efficient at that. So it's going to try to exert less energy. So it adapts really quickly. It's not going to burn the same amount of calories. It will conserve that. So you actually burn less calories doing the same cardio activity over time, but you're still going to get that bump in appetite. You're still going to be starving. And that's the problem with a lot of these workout classes that are too taxing on the female's central nervous system. It increases your appetite and your cortisol to this level that's like, you can't combat it. It's too much. The second most important factor in determining how many calories you burn a day is your NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This is all the activity you do outside of your workout. So this is really like walking, gardening, all this like gentle, low intensity movement that you're doing throughout your day. I'm telling you, is going to be more important than like trying to run yourself into the ground and just like, again, just like too much like intense exercise. So beyond food and movement, your daily lifestyle habits really have a direct impact on your weight, your hormone production, health, appetite, mood, and really like these modern conveniences that have really come up recently are not congruent with homeostasis in the body, but you're probably not going to notice it until your 30s. So again, this is what we've been talking about. After age 35, your muscle mass is dropping, especially if you're not, eating enough protein and then engaging in that sufficient load-bearing exercise that our ancestors naturally did by hunting, gathering, like building, collecting, cooking, they were constantly moving and had that built-in skeletal muscle just from their everyday living for survival. We don't have that anymore. We're here like this, we're sitting most of the day. So we have to add back in. It's like strength training is a supplement. It's a supplement, right? So you have to get real about that and incorporate that into your lifestyle. And this is what we specialize in. We really specialize in supporting beginning people, especially women who are new to strength training, and doing it in a way that is very fully intentional and focused and, not just rushing through the movements. And then also at this time is when your hormones start to fluctuate. So one of the big things to note here, and we talk about this in our program, Awaken Your Cycles, is that your hormones that from the top tier all the way down to your sex hormones are really regulated by light signaling from your environment. I'm sitting here, it is, spring of 2024, and the sunlight is coming in. I've got my windows open. It'll be sunset here in a bit, but I'm getting the right light signaling, and I have my blue light turned off on my computer screen. We go all into the details, a lot of quantum biology and how that impacts your hormone production in Awaken Your Cycles. So one of the big things that we talk about as well is how excess stress is really stealing your hormones. So if you just think about every day, your body really has the choice of making sex hormones or making more cortisol. So again, for women, when we are too hyper stressed, your body becomes addicted to running on cortisol and your stress hormones, and it will just start pumping out more of that. So take a screenshot of this. This is just what supports hormones and what imbalances them. And it's everything we've been talking about here. Again, we really go into this in Awaken Your Cycles. We are specifically really talking about being strategic about light signaling, forms of light, including food, how you can tweak things seasonally, and just little hacks and strategies for living a modern lifestyle without letting your health decline. And again, take a screenshot of this as well. One of the biggest things that we'll get into here in just a moment is the impact of alcohol, which is actually gets much harder to tolerate in our mid 40s and beyond, even earlier for some women. So what if you need more symptom relief, right? So during your luteal phase or perimenopause, how women are coping right now is not working for the most part. So a lot of us are turning to alcohol, makes it worse. Sugar, food, maybe we're emotionally eating. THC, CBD is one of the few that can actually be really, really helpful without having the same kind of negative impact of some of these as alcohol. But really we're looking at lifestyle changes again, first and foremost. And oh my gosh, if I could highlight one right here, it would be boundaries and work changes, therapy, meditation, because again, this is really when you get to that point where you just really cannot